A jury in a civil trial in Ireland has found that the mixed martial arts star Conor McGregor raped a woman in a Dublin hotel in 2018. Conor Gillies was outside the Dublin courtroom as the MMA fighter emerged from...
You have to say sorry for what has happened.
A woman who claimed mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor brutally raped her in a Dublin hotel penthouse was awarded over $250,000 on Friday by a civil court jury in Ireland.
Cut the tension with a knife in that packed courtroom here behind me in Dublin in the past few minutes. One of Ireland's biggest stars sitting there with his head in his hands as the decision of the jury was read out to this court after 8 days of evidence centering around the events of a Christmas night out back in December of 2018, centering on a Dublin hotel, centering on what Conor McGregor described as consensual sex between him, a woman, and his friend James Lawrence. The woman's version of events was very, very different.
A jury in a civil trial in Ireland has found that the mixed martial arts star Conor McGregor raped a woman in a Dublin hotel in 2018. Conor Gillies was outside the Dublin courtroom as the MMA fighter emerged from court. Conor McGregor just found himself on the wrong side of the law once again, and it's taken the boxing world by storm. Let's face it, when Conor hits the headlines it's usually because of his flashy suits, insane trash talk, or those iconic knockouts that made him a global superstar. But this time it's a whole different vibe. McGregor isn't under the bright lights of the octagon or making headlines for another lavish purchase. He's on the wrong side of the law, and it's dead serious. These allegations aren't just some minor hiccup in his PR story, they're the kind that could bring his entire empire crumbling down. We're talking about the career, the endorsements, the legacy. Everything is at stake here. What do you think? Say sorry for what has happened. A woman who claimed mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor brutally raped her in a Dublin hotel penthouse was awarded over $250,000 on Friday by a civil court jury in Ireland. Think about it, the notorious one has been untouchable for years, dodging scandals like punches in a championship fight, but this time the gloves are off and it's the legal system that's coming for him. Whether you love him or hate him, this could be the beginning of the end for McGregor's reign in combat sports. Let's break it down. You could cut the tension with a knife in that packed courtroom here behind me in Dublin in the past few minutes. One of Ireland's biggest stars sitting there with his head in his hands as the decision of the jury was read out to this court after 8 days of evidence centering around the events of a Christmas night out back in December of 2018 centering on a Dublin hotel, centering on what the Conor McGregor described as consensual sex between him, a woman, and his friend James Lawrence. The woman's version of events was very, very different. Last week a Dublin jury dropped a bombshell verdict finding Conor McGregor guilty of assaulting Nikita Hand in 2018. Let's be clear, this was a civil trial and not a criminal one, but the allegations absolutely explosive. Hand claimed McGregor had brutally assaulted her in a South Dublin hotel penthouse after a tense courtroom battle that captured headlines worldwide. Hand was awarded nearly $250,000 in damages. What makes this case even more chilling is H's resilience throughout it all. Speaking after the trial, she said, "I've been telling the truth from day one." For her, this wasn't just a personal victory, it was about ensuring her daughter grows up in a world where women don't feel silenced or powerless. Heavy stuff, right? "I want to thank my mom and all my family and friends. Lastly, I want to thank my dad, who I'm most grateful for. She has given me so much strength and courage over the last 6 years throughout this nightmare to keep on pushing forward for justice. I want to show Freya and every other girl and boy that you can stand up for yourself if something happens to you, no matter who the person is, and justice will be served to all the victims of sexual assault. I hope my story is a reminder that no matter how afraid you might be, speak up. You have a voice and keep on fighting for justice. I know this has impacted not only my life, my daughters, my family and friends tremendously, and it's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. But now that justice has been served, I can now move on and look forward to the future with my family and friends." But wait, it doesn't end there. McGregor unsurprisingly has come out swinging, labeling H claims as a vicious lie and announcing plans to appeal the decision. He took to social media in typical McGregor fashion, calling the court a kangaroo court and claiming justice and truth will prevail. Classic McGregor bravado. But this time it's not about hyping up a fight. It's his reputation on the line. If you thought this case couldn't get more dramatic, buckle up. During the trial, a shocking detail emerged. In June of this year, a group of masked men broke into Nikita H's home. These intruders weren't just there to intimidate, they smashed windows, invaded her bedroom, and even stabbed her boyfriend, who had to fight them off to protect her and their young daughter. The attack left Hand deeply shaken, forcing her to move out of her home and seek safety elsewhere. While there's no direct evidence linking McGregor or his associates to this terrifying ordeal, H's lawyers argued it wasn't just a random act of violence. Instead, they suggested it was linked to her ongoing legal battle against one of the world's most famous fighters. Think about it, being targeted like that while already navigating a high-stakes trial. It's the kind of real-life nightmare no one should have to endure. The court ultimately ruled that the attack was irrelevant to the case itself, but it paints a chilling picture of what Hand has faced while standing up to someone as powerful as McGregor. Let's flip the coin. McGregor's side has been adamant that this entire case is built on falsehoods. His lawyers didn't just deny the allegations, they painted Hand as someone trying to cover up cheating on her boyfriend. According to McGregor, their encounter at the Beacon Hotel was completely consensual. It's worth noting that in 2020, Ireland's Director of Public Prosecution declined to pursue criminal charges against McGregor, citing insufficient evidence to secure a conviction for McGregor and his team. That decision should have been the end of it, but Hand didn't stop there. She pursued justice through a civil trial where the burden of proof is lower than in a criminal case, and that's where things get murky. McGregor's legal team argued that the jury didn't hear all the evidence that had been reviewed by the DPP. McGregor himself called the damages award modest, almost dismissing it as a minor loss. But let's be real, whether the payout is small or large, the damage to his public image is monumental. This case has also reignited critical conversations about consent and justice in Ireland and beyond. During the trial, the judge made a powerful statement: submission is not consent. Let that sink in. The court emphasized that risky behavior, drinking or drug use, does not imply someone is up for sex. These comments struck a chord, especially in an era where discussions about accountability and respect are louder than ever. Ireland's Justice Minister Helen McEntee praised Nikita Hand for her bravery, calling her an inspiration for other survivors. Hey, a couple quick questions for Conor about your legal issues. Real quick, Conor, what can you tell us? Yeah, we're here to talk about a fight. Nothing he does outside a fight. Why got to keep going there the rest of the week? Is fight questions. I promise, ask these questions, he answer these questions. Tell us anything specifically about the status of the sexual assault allegations in Ireland. He answered that yesterday, yes. And was there ever a point where you guys were concerned that might imperil this fight? Was I? Either of you know, for many this case isn't just about McGregor and Hand, it's a symbol of how society is slowly but surely moving toward greater accountability, even for powerful figures. Get this, the fallout has been swift. While McGregor still has legions of diehard fans, the sports community is split. Some are standing by him, arguing that everyone deserves their day in court. Others, however, are questioning whether he should even be allowed to compete. While such serious allegations hang over his head, sponsors are likely watching this closely. Remember how Woods and other athletes saw endorsements vanish when their personal lives became public scandals. McGregor could face a similar fate, and if there's one thing McGregor loves as much as fighting, it's his lifestyle. Cars, yachts, and custom suits don't come cheap. Mr. McGregor, rapist, you're a rapist. Do you to say sorry for what has happened? Do you have any reaction or apology to the women at the center of this? Do you have a reaction? Come on, do you have an apology to the woman at the center of this? What do you have to say about your son? Don't push me again. Well, there we have no comment from Conor McGregor as he made his way swiftly out of the court building here in Dublin and into his Bentley. Let's remember focusing as we were just a few moments ago around the events of 28/18 in that Dublin hotel at Conor McGregor suggesting that it was consensual sex. Well, the court here heard a very different story. Then there's the impact on his fighting career. Will this legal battle affect his comeback plans? UFC President Dana White hasn't commented publicly yet, but you can bet he's weighing the PR risks. A tarnished reputation isn't just bad for McGregor, it's bad for business. All right, now let's rewind and talk about the comeback that almost was but might now go up in smoke. Conor McGregor hasn't stepped into the UFC cage since 2021 when he faced off against Dustin Poirier in what was supposed to be a thrilling trilogy fight. Instead, it turned into a nightmare when McGregor suffered a horrific broken leg, putting his career on ice. Since then, fans have been eagerly waiting for the Notorious to return, hoping to see the brash Irishman light up the octagon once more, but instead of fireworks it's been delay after delay. With drama taking center stage instead of fighting, let's rewind to 2023 when UFC fans got their first glimmer of hope. McGregor's return was announced, a highly anticipated welterweight clash with Michael Chandler. Tied to the Ultimate Fighter series, McGregor and Chandler coached rival teams, building up the fight with heated exchanges and classic trash talk. It was set to be the ultimate redemption arc from McGregor, but like many things in his life, chaos intervened. Conor McGregor, if you can ever get